Welcome to the American Glutton Social Club, where you share your stories with us and we share them with others. Paige, who do we have today?
Today we have Christy.
Hi, Christy.
Christy's story goes like this. She says, in 2019, I had a scare when my blood work came back with high insulin. I was terrified that I was going to be diabetic, so my husband and I decided then and there to get healthy.
Can I
Having a
just say too
yeah,
on the diabetic thing, like my experiences with somebody with type 1 diabetes, and this is what she's talking about is type 2 diabetes, and certainly there are differences here, but like and again, like people should do what they want to do and what they feel good about doing. But I will say, having 4 kids and one of them having type 1 diabetes, the amount of extra effort it takes for her to not have high blood sugar or low blood sugar, because it's not just high blood sugar that's an issue. In fact, low blood sugar is much more dangerous
mm,
acutely, right? Chronically
mhm,
high blood sugar is really severely dangerous over the long term, but
mhm.
acutely, like, you can just die. You can go into a coma and die if you have really low blood sugar. Anyway, it is a real pain in the ass. Like, so if I, and again, I'm not a doctor or anything like that, but I'm just saying, having seen somebody who has no choice, right? Type 1
Mhm.
diabetes, there's no, like, you can fix this with diet. That's not possible for type 1. But if you have the choice, or you're presented with circumstances where it's like you're on your way to having this condition, you can reverse it. I can only enthusiastically and emphatically suggest taking action to reverse it, because it is not fun. And
Yeah.
obviously, I had a cousin when I was a little kid who had type 1 diabetes, and the technology and the insulin and the constant blood glucose monitors and insulin pumps and all of that has gotten so much better, and it has become so much more convenient than it was certainly for my cousin when we were kids. Like, he was just constantly sickly on
Mhm.
a very, very strict diet. And now you can kind of when you've got full blown diabetes, eat basically whatever you want, but you're constantly dosing yourself with insulin to
Yeah.
correct it. And then if you have lows, you're constantly dosing yourself with fast acting sugars to get your blood sugar back up, or,
Mhm.
you know, something very fatty that can also get your blood sugar back up. Anyway, like, I'm really glad you're reading this, because I can only say, like, having dealt with somebody with diabetes from the time they were 4 to now being 17, it's a
Mm.
lot of extra
Yeah.
work from just
Yeah.
like life. And now we're talking about having to regulate food in a way where it's like almost dietary anyway, right?
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
That's all. I
Yes.
just wanted to throw that
No.
in. My
I
advocacy for straightening out blood sugar if you can.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So she says having a doctor that was willing to help and to get to the bottom of the issue was so important. We discovered that I had PCOS and we both had rock bottom vitamin D levels.
What's
We,
PCOS?
so I looked up PCOS and it's basically a hormonal disorder that causes enlarged ovaries and you get small cysts on them. So it's a female situation.
Okay.
She says, we started taking the steps to correct those issues and started to walk at our local golf course and watched our caloric intake. We started out with small walks, then more frequent longer walks, then 5Ks. Once we started to lose weight and feel better, we joined a local gym. In all, we have lost approximately 80 pounds each.
Wow.
Yeah, she did this with her husband and they both lost 80 pounds.
That's incredible.
It's amazing.
I bet,
Sh
and like, is that the end? Or, because I
no,
wonder, like, how important it was to have a teammate doing this with her.
Well, it's almost the end, but she says that um, we do strength training 4 days a week and cardio 2 days a week with a rest day thrown in. And then she finishes by saying, American Glutton is so inspirational, and we love listening to the podcast and watching the social club. We feel great in our 40s and look forward to what life has in store for us. And
Dude,
let
that's
me show
so
you.
awesome.
It's so great. Let me show you these pictures of them, which are basically the before and afters of them together. So here's before, and let me just go ahead and pull up the after right next to it. Isn't that awesome?
Wow.
I know. It's like
Oh my God.
I think I mean, just to your point, you started to say like um how important was it to have a buddy, but look at the smiles on their face. Like I mean, it's amazing to do it with your partner.
Yeah, like I again don't want to put caveats on any of this. Like I do think like no matter your circumstances, there's a path toward success with any goal you might have. So, but that said, I think there can be things that are helpful to many people, right? Not all
Mhm.
people, because I don't get into absolutes and all of that. But I do think that having a teammate I found having a teammate super helpful. And I didn't even have a teammate on this level of her having a teammate. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like my teammate was really just somebody who was going like, what do you need from me? Okay, I'm going to facilitate that for you, right? And whether that's like sometimes I don't know if you've ever seen this, but like Brandy will just take a plate of food away from me. And this is something I've given her permission to do. I've said
Mhm.
like, you can always do that. You're not my mom. I'm asking you to do that, right?
Right.
You don't have to, but like if you ever see me on a day where it's like Thanksgiving and I've loaded up 5 desserts on my plate and I haven't just taken a bite of each one, feel free, please just take that plate away from me and I will thank you for it. And then, if you want to put the rest of the food that's on the table just out of reach, that's
Mhm.
fine too. That's what I like. That's super helpful to me because
Yeah.
I will simply eat until my plate is clean. Like even if I'm not really into the food, I will clean my plate. I don't. This is
Mhm.
my compulsion, right? And then
Mhm.
I might clean a kid's plate too. So like I need those plates just out of reach. I need to have stuff taken away from me sometimes. And like if my mom had taken my plate away from me as a kid, I would have been furious, but I didn't
Mhm.
ask her to do that. Like that wasn't an agreement we had. Anyway, my point is like, and you don't have to do that. Like I'm saying all of that and I'm thinking, God, is this some sick relationship Brandy and I have? But I don't. I like
No.
it. Um, and it's just having somebody like a confidant or somebody who can like duplicate what your needs and wants are to understand where you're coming from, understand what your goals are, who wants you to be successful. And if you've
Mhm.
got two people who are gonna do it together and go through it together, like that's powerful. It really is this idea of strength in numbers, right? Like
Mhm.
I like to think of in AA, there's this saying like a power greater than yourself, a higher
Mhm.
power, right? And so for me, because, although I really like the way Maimonides describes God in his book, A Guide for the Perplexed, where he basically just says a bunch of stuff that God is not, right? So for
Mm.
me, I'm still a little bit agnostic in that I don't feel confident in not believing in God, but I
Mhm.
don't have like I have a concept of what God isn't stronger than I have a concept of what God is. And so you go into this thing and it's like find your higher power. And for me, a room with a bunch of people who are going through what I'm going through and who want me to be successful, that's a power greater than myself. Me and you, Paige, are a power
Mhm.
greater than me.
Yeah.
Me and my wife as a partnership, sitting down and going like, what are our goals? What do we want to accomplish? And we're going to both work towards this much stronger than me working towards anything on my own. So if you can find somebody to talk to, and again, if you are devoid of human contact and you have no connection to anyone, I still think it's possible to you can disregard all of this and be successful in some way. But I do think we become stronger through connection to other people.
Yeah. And don't you think that it also, like, to go on a journey like they did together, and sounds like they did everything sort of in the same step, from walking the golf course to walking longer walks to 5Ks to now they have a routine in the gym. And it don't you think it kind of improves, or not necessarily improves, but I think it just strengthens the relationship you already have with someone too, to be working together towards some mutual goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Amazing. I'm so
So
proud of them.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank
Thank
you
you so much for
so
sharing.
much, guys. Yeah. I hope that everyone keeps us, I love when people send follow-up notes too, to let you know how they're doing.
Yes.
If you have a story that you'd like to share with us, you can email it at americanglutton.net.